So what's wrong? Well, there's a general assumption that the calorie principle must work. It must work, okay, because it's simple mathematics, it's simple physiology or metabolism, okay? So in other words, if people are not losing weight successfully in the long term using this approach, there's something wrong with them. Now, either they're being a bit greedy or a bit lazy, you know, they just haven't applied this enough, okay? They don't have enough self-control and they lack, they have a weak will, they've got an inadequate personality, I don't know, all these thoughts. And often these judgments, by the way, are quite self-applied. So over the years, I've seen many individuals who assume because the calorie principle has not worked for them, that there must be something wrong with them. But let me just tell you, it fails so consistently. I mean, practically no one can make this work for them in the long term. You might say, maybe there's a problem with the principle. Maybe the issue isn't really that people fail to apply it correctly and are lazy and weak or whatever. It's maybe that the calorie principle is somehow flawed. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking to you about what it is about the calorie principle that causes people to be trapped in cycles of weight loss and then weight gain and then needing to repeat that cycle with more weight loss and weight gain, okay? Some of you may have possibly flirted with this yourselves, okay? Many individuals will flirt with it once they get a bit older, once they get as old as I am, middle-aged basically. People very often are now caught in cycles of weight loss and weight gain. So in a way, a lot of this information might be appropriate to you now, but it might not. It might be appropriate to you in the future. So if you think about weight control in a slightly different way, what it might enable you to do is future-proof yourself from these problems so that you don't turn into your dad. So why do calorie-based approaches not work? Okay, I'm going to go through a range of reasons why calorie-based approaches can't really work, okay? And I'm going to start with this. It's really this concept, okay? If you have a certain amount of metabolism, burning, I don't know, 2,000 calories a day, if you only give the body, say, 1,500 calories, the inevitable consequence of that is that the body is going to burn less fuel. It's like a fire, and taking a calorie-based approach is like putting less fuel on the fire. So you would not expect the metabolism to burn quite as well as a result of that. Now, we know from science that when the body is put in this situation, it brings into play a number of mechanisms that put a significant dent in the metabolism, okay? And there's certain changes in the body that can be monitored around. We'll explore some of this in a little bit more depth later, but thyroid hormone levels. Thyroid is a very important organ that produces hormones that stimulate the metabolism. So you get changes in these hormones. You get changes in the levels of a hormone called leptin, which I'll tell you about later. And also, both in animals and in humans, when you put them on calorie-restricted diets, they move less. They spontaneously move less. They become less active. This is all an attempt by the body to stop you starving yourself to death. It's a normal sort of mechanism. But it can make things very difficult because often people will find after some brisk initial weight loss that their weight loss slows to a crawl and will plateau at a weight way above the weight that they wanted to get to. That's a very common thing that we see in practice. So once you've plateaued here, you're a bit hungrier, you're a bit tired from your exercise, and you're not getting anywhere, and you know, you've gone down, I don't know, from 13.5 to 12.5 stone, but your ideal weight's 11 or something, and you get fed up and you will often default back to your original diet, not surprisingly. Very often though, now you've put a big dent in your metabolism, that weight will return very quickly. It often returns alarmingly quickly, and people will often end up at a weight above the weight that they started with. And this is just one mechanism, okay, by which the body can scupper your attempts at weight loss. It's very difficult to starve the body into submission, essentially. Now, this was studied a long, long time ago, okay? Back in the 1940s, after the Second World War, a lot of people